Good evening, Gavin.
Good evening, TC, and welcome all to our weekly podcast, Curran View, with the Ardiles Borough, Mr. Terry Curran. And if you're listening to the free first half on either Acast or Spotify, you can follow the links on our socials and access the full podcast via Apple, or become a Patreon, all the w's.patreon.com/SRBmedia. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Curran View, on Facebook, the Curran View, and the Curran View on Instagram, or join the chat with the group, the Curran View, which has over 3,000 members today. Thank you for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Steady away. How you doing?
Steady away.
That is the title of your new book. Are you doing the dishes?
No, I'm just getting some chicken out for Jock's dinner for tomorrow. Went for work.
And how are the
I'm
boys?
just going to sit down now.
Okay. How are the boys?
Fine.
Are they all right?
They're both fine. Yep. I'm running up and down because obviously with Janet like she is, she's not too well lately. So I've been up and down. But other than that, not too bad.
Good, TC. Magic moments that you've sourced this week, TC. What have you got for us?
Well, there's three incidents, and I usually go for one, as you know. The two Sheffield Wednesday goals.
Yeah.
Not last night, but the one on Saturday. The move and the shot itself, absolutely sublime. And I watched the game last night, and Benzema's goal last night, that was another one. But both Sheffield Wednesday's goals, the second one with the move and everything, intricate passing. And Sheffield Wednesday looking a bit sharp this season, so let's hope that we're on to a winner.
Absolutely. League Division 1 champions this year with a little bit of luck too.
With a bit of luck, let's not, just typical professional football, one game at a time.
Absolutely. Well, in all seriousness, that's what you have to do. Take one game at a time, beat what you've got in front of you, then go and win the next game. And momentum, you get that momentum. And then when you play 10 games or so and you're top of the league and you're a few points clear, you look and you think, happy days, this could be our season. But you're right, TC, one game at a time. I always look at three magic moments. And I've got to say, in third place this week, the opening of the Stanley Bowl stand and Chris Willock's goal. I mean, if ever there was a goal,
yeah, that was another great goal, wasn't it? Absolutely. I think you posted that.
Yeah.
I don't like pinching yours when you post them, but no, that was a great goal.
Well, I like to find things and I like to have a look, and we're all busy and we don't see everything, and it's lovely to see other people's posts and go, oh yeah, that was absolutely a right magic moment. But I think the way that the QPR fans have stood up for their idol and hero Stan Bowles, and they've had one or two scenarios with the football club, and there's been a little bit of infighting within the club and supporters groups and management of the football club, but it's all come together, and the family of Stan Bowles were received on Saturday against Middlesbrough, and I thought that goal in particular was really befitting, and they won 3-2. It was a great game, and it was everything really that Stanley stands for. So well done to all my QPR friends, and I know how hard that they've worked because I've been in direct conversations with one or two of them. So well done, Queen's Park Rangers. When you all work together for a common goal, it's amazing what results you can actually achieve.
We cannot. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, you carry on, T.
We can all look at the off-field antics of Stan, but it's about what he did for the football club on the field, and he has got to go down in probably as QPR's greatest player. They've had some great players, make no mistake, but what a player he was for QPR. I'm not saying he's the best man, I'm not saying he's the worst man, but what I'm trying to say is anybody who went to watch Stan Bowles got the money's worth and got the value's worth of watching football when he walked onto that football field and performed for Queen's Park Rangers.
Absolutely, but with a player like Stan, that when you look at that iconic player, what he done off the pitch was also just as important as what he done on the pitch, because Stan was that kind of lovable rogue that the QPR fans bought into, not just Stanley on the pitch, but Stanley off the pitch. And I think that when you marry the two up, I don't think that in association football we've probably ever seen an Englishman that done what Stan did both on and off the pitch. Okay, you could argue that George Best would, but he was from Ireland and again different levels on the pitch. But Stan was just
Yeah,
iconic.
but what I'm getting at, as you know, the fans will buy into it.
Yeah.
But the woke brigade, even what's gone on for years, didn't like what Stan did off the pitch.
Yeah.
That's why he
Yeah.
never got that recognition
Yeah.
from the directors and the people what's around Queen's Park Rangers. Not them all, but enough of them to always hold that stumbling block up. But I agree with you 100%. The fans bought into it because they would laugh at his off-field antics.
Yeah.
But they cried his breathtaking performance on the pitch.
Absolutely, T. And I think the friendship that he developed with Don Shanks was, one of the great partnerships in football. And Don did say that they were like two cartoon characters going through life, just leaving a trail of destruction behind them. And that was the 70s. Sadly, the life and the game isn't like that today, and I think it's the sadder for it, because back in our day, we had characters. My second,
but now you mentioned Don Shanks, I think he needs a round of applause.
Yes, he does, Shanks,
for all the hard work and pushing for Stan, and he's stood by Stan.
Oh yeah.
When Stan became ill, as well as but even Don's off-field antics, could cause the problems. But at the end of the day, like I'm saying, he deserves a round of applause for putting up for sticking by Stan.
Oh, absolutely. And
I'm fighting for him all the way,
Yeah, the story that Don tells about, I think they were away in Belgium at the time when Stan bet him a fiver that he could get a brandy and all the bars were closed, and it was unbelievable. Because them boys would bet upon anything. Two spiders going up a wall. What cars were going to go past the training ground next? Was it a red car? Was it a blue car? I mean, they really did live life to the full. And God bless Stanley and Don Shanks as well. And a good mate of Alan Hudson. And, between and my friendship and working with Alan, you get involved with these people, and Shanks is an absolute top man as well. So well done to Don, well done to all the QPR supporters, and thank you, Stanley, for the memories that you gave, not just Queen's Park Rangers fans, but all football fans and all fans that appreciated football played in the right way. Sar's goal for Watford against West Bromwich Albion in the League Cup. Sorry, it was a league game, wasn't it? It wasn't the League Cup.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But sure, like we always say it every week, you pick one out, you pick two out, you pick three out. And there's others as equally what we've left off as good as, if not better. Because it's only opinions, isn't it?
But he sees a goalie off his line, he thinks I'll have a popper, yeah?
Unbelievable.
But then...
I mean, Jock says to me, what's the goalkeeper doing? I said, Jock, what about the vision?
Yep.
What about, but the young'uns see football different to what we do, Gabby, don't they?
They do, because the young'un, I was watching the game with the young'un, and he said when he took the penalty, I bet he misses. He scored a goal from over the halfway, and Tom said, I bet he misses the penalty. and it is mad, isn't it, that he scores a goal from over the halfway line, his own half, and he misses one from 12 yards. But again, that's football, isn't it? It's a crazy old game.
You see it week in and week out with some of your teams, or some of the teams, some of your teams, and then there's some of the teams, opposition. And you think, what a great goal that is. The same player misses a City. You think, how's he scored that one and missed that one? But it does happen.
I think it keeps us all level-headed, it keeps us all human, it keeps us understanding that the game can bite you on the backside if you're not careful, and you have to play every moment as though it's your last and put everything into every minute that you play on a football pitch. And when you don't do that, you think, oh, this is quite easy. It will, as I say, bite you on that bum, and it did for Sarr in the same match. Scores a goal from his own half and misses a penalty, but that's football. And then my other magic moment was Darwin Núñez's goal against Fulham. He did have that flick moments earlier, and then the ball come over and he done that flick and he put it into the back of the net. And I thought, when you look at, I love bits of skill and improvisation, and he just, for me, looks a player. I know he's only played bits and pieces. He started on the bench, he come on, he changed the game, but he does look a player. And if he can give me moments of magic like that, I'll be watching Liverpool very often when they play.
Like you said, when you see that type of bit of magic, you think, wow, because. But having said that, you see, I mean, that's about fourth or fifth one we've seen now from the halfway line. Yeah. It was the Pelly one what we first saw years ago,
70, yeah.
Wasn't it? And everybody went wow, and he just missed. But other players have achieved it without having Pelly's ability. Unbelievable, Jeff.
Yeah,
as Cammy would say.
Simon scored a goal from the halfway line as well, Falkirk. But there's no video evidence because the manager destroyed it. But players do look at and we get influenced by what we see, and that's why I love the magic moments. And for any kids that listen to us, I used to do that when I used to watch you guys play football. I'd watch Match of the Day, I'd get my ball out and I'd try and emulate what you did. And I think that's what football is all about. It's watching games, being influenced, getting a ball out and just trying those skills and seeing if it works for you. I watched the Bradford and Hull City game, give it 17 minutes, I turned it over and watched EastEnders. It was absolutely awful.
Some of it now I've stopped watching. But going back to what you say, it's only what I did as a kid, watching George Best, watching Eddie Gray, watching Jimmy Johnson, Willie Henderson, watching all these great forwards, Stan Bowles, and I mean, Alan Hudson's a different because he was a midfield player. But, me being a forward, wanting to go past people. But I admired the Currys, the Hudsons, the Balls of this world with the, your Glenn Hoddles. You can rip them off. Colin Bells of this world, Bobby Charlton's, unbelievable players. But I wanted to emulate George Best, Willie Johnson, Jimmy Johnson, Willie Henderson, Dave Thomas, all them type of players.
Yeah.
Peter Thompson at Liverpool, great players.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's been influenced, and without them players of the past, we don't do the now, and we look forward to the future. So, guys, keep giving us the magic moments. We'll keep talking about it. We'll keep promoting them on our social media outlets. And thank you for all the magic moments you give the game. And I've also got to mention Kevin De Bruyne's pass for Ireland's goal. That was absolutely sublime. And the way that he run up and took that penalty.
Great penalty. You're never going to say that. You're never going to say that. But what about his pace?
Yeah, absolutely.
From the pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I watched him against Liverpool and I thought, have these made the right decision here? Because are they going to play a different way? No, they played the normal way. They made the chances and he took them. And he's going to be some danger to the rest of the teams this season.
Well, he comes with a pedigree, doesn't he? I mean, his dad played professionally for Manchester City, and he had that infamous incident with Roy Keane.
Yeah.
I was waiting. I said to Tom, I wonder if Roy Keane's going to interview him after. That will be very interesting. And at some time, in some stage this season, they're going to have to probably talk together, and I'll be quite interested in how Erling Haaland approaches that frosty situation.
We never know. I don't think it will, but they'll push it and try to give it that. But I don't think they will because there was a lot of conflict between his dad and Roy Keane, weren't there? So absolutely. I'm not sure, but it'd be interesting.
Absolutely, TC. What's also interesting is the books that we find and the books that are given to us, and the books that are promoted in so many fabulous publications. The first one that we're going to talk about is the book that was given to us by our, in association with myfootballbooks.com. Andy, we do a regular podcast that's grown out of the Curran View Book Corner. So this is our feature on the podcast that we just took, Football Books, and Andy's given us all crazy now. He has before, and he will do again, because it's the most fantastic book. It's written by David Tossell. I have done a podcast with David. It's out on the socials. The picture on the front is there's George Best, there's Kevin Keegan smashing Billy Bremner, although it was Johnny Giles that smashed Kevin Keegan earlier in the game as well. Brian Clough with his finger over his mouth, and on the back you've got Don Revie and you've got Alan Hudson. It's a 500 page wonderful publication out by Pitch Publishing of the 70s, English football and the footballers in the 70s. And it was the age where the flair players wore the flares. It's everything that you want and more from a game of football. And when you look at the cover, it just says everything. I want to read it, and just all the colours and everything. Because for me, the 70s was the most fabulous decade in football. There is another book out as well, which I'm going to give it a shout to while we're talking football books of the 70s. Get It On, How the 70s Rocked Football by John Sperling. And Grandad, What Was Football Like in the 70s by Richard Crooks. And Richard's wrote a number of books, of which you feature in at least two of them, TC, the 70s and the 80s, and rightly so as well.
Well, I weren't bad, Gabby. I must admit,
You were brilliant, mate.
Going to play in the third division didn't help my career, and I got a lot of stick for it from people in the game higher up, saying that I would ruin my career going playing down. But have I seen somewhere that Uddy's going to be writing a book?
Alan's written a book. He's got the Working Man's Ballet. Alan's wrote a number of other football books, but I'm not sure. Like, you didn't say anything today.
I thought I'd seen something where he's going to write another book.
I must be dreaming.
Listen, I could be dreaming, Gabby.
Alan's always Alan is always writing. He's always listening to music. I phoned him up today, and he was listening to music. He's always got them long players on, so he's always doing something. He doesn't stop. It's just like when he was on the football pitch. He was a genius and an artist on it, and he is a genius and an artist off it as well. So it wouldn't surprise me, but I'll give him a shout tomorrow and ask him if he is writing another book. So I'm not aware that he is, but I'm aware that he writes daily. And if he isn't writing another book, he should be, because his writings are absolutely fabulous.
Sublime,
I could listen to Alan like yourself and read.
Speaks a lot of sense, really, Alan. Really, without anger, really. I mean, people will say, "Well, what are you talking about? He's got the bitterness with the England thing." I understand that, but majority of his writing, there's no bitterness in it.
No, and I think that
there's disappointments in it, but we all do that because sometimes people think that we've let people down. People don't realise that Alan and Stan Bowles, Frank Worthington, myself, Malcolm McDonald, we're all let down by certain managers.
Yeah, absolutely. Football, the one thing that I've learned through doing the podcast with both yourself and Alan is how important managers are and how managers can actually make or destroy a player. And Alan played with a few that wasn't particularly very good. And then he met his mentor, Tony Waddington, who was like a second father. And unfortunately, in January 1976, we had a really high wind. It blew down the Butler's Lane roof. And as a consequence, Jimmy Greenough and Alan Hudson were sold at the end of the season. And it happens. But, I mean, I always say to Alan, you were an absolute luckless genius. Where some people carry that Midas touch of him. It was
Listen,
like Midas touch in reverse with Uddy.
that's a great shout. And people say, you make your own look. But listen, sometimes, look at me.
Yeah,
I'm at Forest, playing out my skin.
yeah.
Get a bad injury, they go on to win every mortal thing. Right? I go to Everton, bottom of league, second bottom of league, going nowhere, turned them round, signed again, went on loan, signed again. My first game back, pulls an injury, goes and win everything.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes that luck does not go with you.
No, it doesn't.
Whereas some people, like you say, they have that luck and everything drops in line for them.
Yeah, I mean, Alan says to me, he says, usually with transfers, football transfers, they're football reasons. And he said, with all my transfers, they wasn't really football reasons that I got transferred. And it is quite incredible. And, we do. Well, we've done a number of podcasts together, as you know, and the one that we've done quite recently was the if only and the if only moments in football. And football is littered with if only moments. But that's a fantastic book, All Crazy Now, by David Tossell. It's been out for some time, and that's a recommendation from Andy from myfootballbooks.com, who we do this feature in association with Steve Perryman. I want to give a shout out to Steve's book, Forever a Spur, My Lily White Blue and Life with Adam Howley. And Steve is he's in the process of writing another book about the 1981 FA Cup final, and the referee of that was Mr. Hackett from down your way.
Yes.
Yeah,
great referee.
Yeah.
Great referee. Simon played it. Is that the one? Is that the Manchester City one, or was that the QPR
No,
one?
it was the Man City. Do you remember Ozzy's on his way to Wembley?
Yeah.
That was the 81 Man City. And then 82, when they played QPR, and Simon and Tony Curry played against them the season after in 1982 when Tottenham won it 2 years on the spin. But he's going to be writing a book about the 1981, which was the 100th FA Cup final. I know that the centenary was 1972 because it started in 1972, but we have had wars, etc., during that time. So the 100th FA Cup final was that one in 1981 when Tottenham played against Manchester City and Ricky Villa scored that phenomenal goal to take the cup back to White Hart Lane. Steve tells some brilliant stories. He's got a wonderful podcast out as well. So, yeah.
That was the best FA Cup final goal I'd seen. That
was brilliant. And do you know it was born in Argentina, literally, that goal? Because when Ricky lived out on his ranch, he used to get a ball and he'd just dribble around trees. And he didn't really play in a team till he was a bit older. And all he used to do is just like to dribble with the ball. And the teachers used to say, Ricky, pass. And it was literally in that 81 final where the Spurs players went, Ricky, pass. What a goal. Because he went round them players like they were trees back on his ranch in Argentina. But he is coming back over. And Steve Perryman, Osvaldo Ardiles, and Ricky Villa are going out and doing an evening with. So we will put that up on our socials. 3 great players and that Tottenham team, a wonderful side, and all come out on the back of the 1978 World Cup finals when Argentina won. It leads us nicely to our final book, Blood on the Crossbar, by Reese Richard, The Dictatorship World Cup, and it's about the 1978 World Cup finals in Argentina. If you remember, TC, in 1977, we played Argentina, and that was the first game that I remember seeing via satellite in this country.
Yes, it was. When you really get to sports personalities, what defend the people's rights, that's when I think any person watching football, whether people say, well, sports shouldn't get mixed up in politics. I agree, but when the politics gets to as bad as it was then, as it is now, that's when the real people have to stand up and be counted. You know, is it about money or is it about your country? And I would always put country before money.
I think everybody with soul
Uh,
would put their country
yeah,
and football before money, because I think that if you're good enough, the money will come after. So I
yeah.
think that you've always got to put football, the game of football, your country, your people, before any of this ridiculous scenario that's been going on since time started. But that looks to be a fabulous book. And I think on the front of it is Daniel Passarella, who was the
What a
Argentinian
player!
captain. I mean, they were a great team.
What
I
a defense!
know,
Yeah.
I know that there was a lot of, was the
The
bribery.
66, the 66 thing, what a bad one.
Yes,
That's when they were, they were still technically brilliant, but they were
ratting,
vicious.
wasn't
They
it?
were, yeah, vicious. They weren't just ratting, they were vicious.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pelé got a lot of stick in that World Cup. But that Passarella team, Ozzy Ardiles, and all those players, Kempes, Luque, absolutely sublime players,
And we had one of
technically
them.
gifted.
Yeah, we had one of them, Alberto Tarantini.
Oh, yeah, Birmingham, yeah.
Yeah, Tarantini come and
Well, you,
played for
you, you know,
Birmingham.
you know that you heard that story with Jim Smith about with the ball, didn't you?
You
This is the
tell
ball.
us.
Put it. Jim Smith had just signed him. He said to him, "This is the ball, and I want you to put the ball in the back of the net." And he spoke in perfect English. I know. Tell the rest of them.
But
Brilliant.
the problem was in that season that Alberto joined Birmingham. So it was the 78-79 season. Both Trevor and Keith Burchin had really bad injuries and had the legs in plaster
Pasta.
for a certain amount of time during that season. So Alberto really come at the wrong time. Had he come the season before, Birmingham finished 11th and beat both Manchester United and Liverpool away in January of 78. But again, it's all about timing, and I think Alberto just come a little bit too
You've
late
got to
and
play
injured
in. You've
players.
got to play. Good players have got to play in good teams.
Absolutely, and I
It's
think
like it's like good players when they're going to management. Make sure they get a good team, else they can struggle and it makes them look poor.
absolutely too. So, and on this day, Andy always gives me an on this day, the 10th of August, 1974, the Charity Shield between Leeds United and Liverpool took place, and that was the first season that it was contested between the champions and the FA Cup winners at the permanent home, which was Wembley. Yes, they played at the Millennium Stadium when Wembley was closed, but it is back at Wembley. I know it was at the Leicester Stadium this year because of the Lionesses playing in the Euros. But 1974 was a pivotal year because it did bring that Charity Shield, and the Charity Shield that started in 1898 as the Sheriff of London Charity Shield by Lord. Oh, what's his name now?
I
Dewar.
can't believe. I can't believe.
Lord Lord Dewar. He started it, and it was started as the best English professional team against the best amateur team, and then it stopped in
Right.
1907, became the Charity Shield, and they've played in different guises. In fact, in 1971, when Arsenal were the champions, they couldn't play in the Charity Shield. So Liverpool, who were the finalists, Leicester won the second division. They competed in 72. In 1971. In 72, Villa won the third division. Man City finished fourth. They competed at Villa Park for the Charity Shield in 72, and in 73, Colin Waldron scored a goal for Burnley at Main Road. Burnley won 1-0. Frank Casper took the free kick, and then in 74 it was the champions against the FA Cup winners. But in 72, interestingly, both Derby County and Leeds United, that won the league and won the cup respectively, didn't want to play in it, and Arsenal the season before had already booked a pre-season tour.
I didn't know that. So didn't Leeds and didn't you not play that year then?
Sorry, what year?
when Derby won the league and Leeds won the FA Cup, so didn't the Charity Shield take place then?
Yeah, it did, but Villa played Manchester City. Man City finished fourth in 1972, and Aston Villa had won the third division title, and
Well,
they
how did they
played
get
out.
away with that then?
But that's what happened. It wasn't always the winners of the FA Cup and the winners of the Football
Right,
League.
right.
It
I
was
always
it,
thought it were. It just shows you, doesn't it?
no. There's been lots. I think it'd be a great book, the history of the Charity Shield.
SRBMedia.